Today's video is brought to you by Assiniboine Downs Gaming and Event Center. And be sure to tune in to Trust the Profits Live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern for Monday Night Lights, hosted by Matthew DeSantis.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first edition of the Pick 5 Player Show. I'm your host, Michael Pellerin, a.k.a. Horse Guy Mike. And today we're going to be talking about the July 1st Saturday card at Belmont Park. 5 races, starting with race 6, the Dwyer Stakes. We got 2 great stakes races, 2 allowance races, and a maiden claiming race. And we're going to be going through each leg of the Pick 5 and talking about how we can find some value and how we can get this ticket home. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with leg number 1. Race number 6, that's probably the biggest race of the day. In my mind, that's the Dwyer Stakes, grade 3. Last year was won by Charge It, looked very impressive, kind of set him up for the rest of his career that year. So really looking forward to seeing some of these 3-year-olds as they progress here. And you'll see very first leg of the day. We're going with a single in the first leg, and it's not the favorite. So we have Fort Bragg here coming off that effort in the Pat Day Mile. Had a very close second to General Jim. Really impressive win. But I'm actually going to be going against Fort Bragg, and I'm going to be singling in the first leg the number 2 horse, Saudi Crown. Saudi Crown had a really impressive maiden win at Keeneland, won by 4 3/4 lengths at that 6 furlong maiden. Came back at Churchill and Allowance at 6.5 furlongs. Another nice win by a length and 3/4. So this horse is undefeated, progressing really well. Brad Cox trained. Had Florent Giroux on the first two races, getting Javier Castellano. I consider that kind of an upgrade there. Love getting Castellano on board when you can. And I think we're going to get a little bit of value here with so much of the money going on Baffert and Fort Bragg. If anything was to happen to Saudi Crown, if he was to scratch or anything, I would consider Fort Bragg as my alternate single. I don't think there's any way you can have both of these horses in your ticket. I think the 2 of them are going to take the overwhelming majority of the money. So you need to take a stand on one of the 2. So I'm going to go with Saudi Crown here in the first leg as my single to start the leg off. None of these other horses, the number 1 Prove Right, hasn't really shown much. Harrodsburg's been okay. Had an impressive maiden win, came back in Allowance, wasn't able to step it up. But I think Saudi Crown and Fort Bragg really stand above the rest. So I'm going to go with number 2, Saudi Crown, as my first leg single in this late Pick 5 Dwyer Stakes. The great thing about having a single in the first leg is that if you get knocked out early, you can fire right back in a Pick 4. So that's going to bring us up to our next leg of the Pick 5, and that's going to be race number 7. It's an allowance race going 1 mile on the dirt for 3-year-olds and up. And so I'm just going to go through each of these horses, talk a little bit about why I included them and why I'm tossing them. So number 1, Bad to the Bones. This horse coming off of pretty impressive speed figure, dropping in class, actually was in 127,000 allowance back-to-back. So getting a little bit of a cost relief here in a 95K allowance. 2 excellent performances, couldn't quite get the win, but 92 Brisnett's figure, 91 Brisnett figure, has done really well since transferring to Wilmot. So I think this is definitely one you want to have on your ticket. The number 2, Verratti. Nothing really here to speak about. Got to be a long shot. I know it's Todd Pletcher trained with John Velasquez on board, so he'll take some money, which is good for us who are tossing him. But just coming off of first race off the layoff after almost a year, didn't show up at all. So you could say like, oh, it needed the rest off the layoff, but not one I'm willing to take a shot at, including on a ticket where I'm already going kind of deep in this leg. The number 3, Brew Pub, going to include, again, 98 Brisnett speed figure last out, 94 the race before that. So 1-2 back, got second by half a length last out here at Belmont. I think really great performance, stretching out a little bit. So we'll see if that's gonna be a problem there. But I think worth taking a shot at with Manny Franco. Number 4, Daddy Knows, is going to be my top pick in this race. 103 Brisnett last out here at Belmont at the beginning of June. Really impressive race there with Katie Davis in the last 4 mounts. 97 Brisnett before that. You can see this horse since moving over to Raymond Handel has really been progressing every single race. And so definitely one I want to include here. Hopefully we'll get a good price. Not sure. I mean, that the top speed figure is really going to attract some people here, but I think there's enough options here where we'll still get some value. Number 9, 12th man. Couldn't see an argument for him. Middling speed figures, not really progressing. It's kind of getting worse, and each of this race is not really finishing up. And Castellano rode him in his last 2 races, not choosing to ride him here. So that tells me all I need to know. Out. 12th man is out. Number 6, South Street. I will be including. Looking at first off claim from Linda Rice. She does a really good job of finding spots for her horses to perform well at. And first off of claim, you never know what you're going to get with that. So I'm willing to take a shot with South Street, including here. The last 3 here, Baris, Winter Lion, and Unexpected. Going to be tossing all 3 of these. Kind of the same story for each of them. Middling speed figures, not really winning. Nothing really to say like, okay, I'm seeing a potential jump here from first off claim or second off layoff. 3 of them kind of all fit into the same ballpark, and they're all similar styles. So we're going to go with the number 1 here, the number 3, number 4, and the number 6. Next up, leg 3, we're going to race 8, another allowance race going 1 mile and 16th on the Melon turf, or the Widener turf, sorry. So number 1, Big Venezuela. Not really seeing much here. Allowance type horse, middling speed figures, easy toss for me here. Number 2, Timbuktu, especially in a big field like this, you have to find some ways to toss here. Number 2, Timbuktu, second off layoff for Richard Dutroux. Had a good performance last out with Irad on board. Getting Jose this time, so not really a downgrade there. I think it's going to be doing well. Really good in the prime power rating. So Timbuktu definitely going to be including here. The number 3, Morning Cup, another Linda Rice first off claim option here. So again, like I said, in the last race, Linda Rice does a good job of spotting her horses in places that she thinks they will do well. And first off claim, I'm going to give this horse a chance. Pretty solid, consistent speed figures, and I like the class bump up. Linda Rice claimed this horse out of a claiming race and is moving it back into the allowance company. That's something that shows me that she's got some confidence here. So Morning Cup, front running style, I'm going to be including here. Apollo Rising, going to be a fade for me. John Velasquez on board. First off claim for William Walden. Not much here. Has only run in claiming races before, has not run an allowance company. So while I do like Linda Rice moving up in company, moving back, showing confidence, I'm not really necessarily the same level of confidence here with a horse racing against horses in a class that it's never tried before. So going to be a fade for me, Apollo Rising. Number 5, Forwardly. This is going to be a toss for me as well. There's not really much to speak of here. This horse just doesn't like to win. Won its maiden, has raced 7 other times. Middling speed figures. I think this horse needs another class drop in order to get a win. It's not going to be here today. Number 6, Shin Shun. I will be including this horse. Kendrick Carmouche. I love cheering for and seeing Kendrick up there in New York. Had 2 back-to-back allowance races. One was in October, and then the most recent one was here in May. So had a lot of time off, came back in that allowance in May. Did a pretty good 84 Brisnet speed figure, which is right around where the other competitors here are. And Barkley tags the trainer. So if we think this horse needed that race off of layoff, this could be a great opportunity to bring it back. This horse loves the distance, has raced at 1 mile and 16th 4 times now. This will be the 5th. Has raced here at Belmont at the distance, so has the experience. So I'm going to be including Shin Shun as my next include here. Number 7, Urban Myth. Couldn't really see an argument for this horse. 84 is its highest Brisnet. Has not really performed well in allowance company or even maiden special weight company. So Had the drop to maiden claiming to win. Now it's back up to Allowance. Has tried Allowances twice. Hasn't been able to progress forward. Number 8, Lord Gatling. Going to be another fade for me. This horse doesn't even like to finish in the first half of the field, let alone win. Very poor speed figures ever since breaking its maiden, when it had like a freak performance. So not one that I see much value in adding here. Number 9, Broken Spur. I do like this horse for Wilmot and Jose Lascano. This one is coming off a maiden claiming race that it won with an 81 Brisnet. Before that, had an 88 Brisnet in a maiden special weight. So this horse tried maiden special weight a couple times, couldn't quite get there, dropped into a maiden claiming to get the win, didn't get claimed, luckily, and now Wilmot's coming back in an Allowance race. Love the confidence there. Love this horse's versatility. It runs on the lead, and when it can get on the lead, it can kind of, go all the way around the track. And so I think this horse has a chance to go gate to wire. Going to be including Broken Spur as my potential front-running option for this race. We'll see how he does. Next up, we got Mo Rewards. This horse is kind of all over the place, getting claimed from multiple different trainers. Speed figures are mid-70s, low 80s. Not a horse that I'm looking to include on a deep ticket here. Number 11, More Than Work. Going to be another toss for me. This one was hard. It used to be trained by Brad Cox, now trained by Carlos Martin. Again, mid 80s Brisnet speed figures. Has even thrown up a low 90. Has been running an Allowance company. Has run here at Belmont at similar distances. So maybe it's got a shot here, but I think there's other horses that do what this horse does better. It's an EP7, so it wants to be close to the lead. And I think there's horses here that will do better on the lead or close to the lead than this one. So this is going to be a toss for me. And then the last horse, number 12 horse, Kingfish Stevens. This horse is coming off of a stakes performance, got a 92 Brisnet. Got 4th place in that race with Javier Castellano. But you got to assume 4th place in a stakes race with a 92 is better than first or second in Allowance with an 82 or an 83. So dropping in class, running here at Belmont for the first time. You never know. I loved its performance at Pimlico and Aqueduct, even though it wasn't able to win those days. But I think just looking at the class that this horse has been running against, I think it will do well here. And it has competitive speed figures to put it ahead. So those are the ones we're going to be including here: the number 2, the number 3, the number 6, number 9, and the number 12. We are going deep. This is a 12-horse race. We have 5 horses. But again, we're trying to keep these tickets relatively cheap for the average player. So we got our single earlier. We went 4 deep in the last race, 5 deep in this leg. And next up, we're going to be moving on to leg number 4, the real big race of the day, the Grade 2 John A. Nerude. 7 furlongs on the dirt for older sprinters. Looks like we got favoritism on Candyman Rocket. And again, similar to the first race in the Dwyer, you got two horses here who I think have legit shots. And I don't want both of them on my ticket. So I'm going to take a stand here. I'm going to go with the number 3 Wayburn as my second single on this card, going against Candyman Rocket. And again, if something happens to Wayburn where he scratches, I'm going to be throwing Candyman Rocket in there as my next easy single. But Wayburn, I really love this horse. And back being trained by Todd Pletcher now, was being trained by James Durkin, was doing well down at Gulfstream. And you look at his last races, he was in the Westchester, lost to Reaper, Rocks, and Xanten, who if either of them were in this race, they'd be the favorite. Before that, Gulfstream won a nice listed stakes there. Before that, at Gulfstream, lost to White Avario, another fairly nice horse who was running in the Grade 1 Met Mile last out. So he's been running and competing against some top-level horses, and I think this is the perfect spot, especially being moved to Todd Pletcher. Don't necessarily think that that's like a significant bump over James Durkin, who's an excellent trainer, but he's pointing this horse here for a reason. The horse was moved for a reason. The owners wanted him to have a good performance moving forward with the second half of this year. So I think Wayburn's going to be poised for a big race here. This is going to be my second single on the card, Wayburn. But we can talk about the other horse, number 1, Candyman Rocket. who last out won the Grade 3 Run Happy at Belmont with a great performance, a 101 Brisnet speed figure, won it by a length and a half. Very nice performance there. Before that, had kind of a misfire at Oaklawn Park and in the Grade 3 there. Didn't really show up. Before that, had a bunch of nice performances down at Gulfstream. So might just not have liked the Oaklawn track. Gets back to Belmont where it had that great performance there. I think there's a lot to like about Candyman Rocket, but again, like I said, I'm taking a stand here. I've got two horses I like fairly equal, and I think Wayburn's going to be the bigger price. So I'm going to fade Candyman Rocket to get some value here and hope that Wayburn's able to get home. But again, if you were to play an exacta in this race, I'd probably just do a 3/1 exacta or exacta box because I think those two are the head and shoulders above the rest of this field. The other one I would talk about here would be Sheriff Bianco for Linda Rice. As I mentioned multiple times on the card, Linda Rice does a good job of placing her horses in places where they will be competitive. That horse has a number of really nice speed figures, 2 back-to-back 95 Brisnets, 100 Brisnet in his allowance win back in April at Aqueduct. So has a shot. I just think the other two are better and are more poised to win here. So singling Wayburn in leg 4, the John A. Nerude. And then going to our last race of the day, leg number 5, race 10. This is a maiden claiming race going a mile and a 16th on the turf for 10 horses. There's some also eligibles in here as well that I didn't include because I didn't really like either of them, and I think the weather's going to look fine. I think they will be on the turf. So number 1, Aula. Nothing really to like with this horse. It's going to be a toss for me. Middling speed figures, never even close to the front. Staying at the same distance, staying at the same class. So if nothing's changing, nothing's changing. I'm not a horse that I want to include here. Number 2, Miracle Mike. This will be an include for me. Had tried maiden special weight company for a long time, dropped in the maiden claiming, had a good race in that maiden claiming race. Was able to make up a ton of ground, got up for 3rd. So first time facing easier company, and it had a fairly good race. So I think wheeling back in a maiden claiming race again at the same distance, at the same track here at Belmont with a little bit of experience, I think this horse has a good shot to take a step forward. Number 3, Flintshire's Rock is going to be a toss for me. Again, middling speed figures, complete no-show last out, has kind of stayed in the same class, has dropped class, couldn't perform, back up into this class, dropped class, back up in this class. Not a horse that I'll want to be touching at all. Number 4, Metamorphosis. Bruce Levine, Kate Davis, going to be a toss here as well. Similar story to the last horse, has been in this class. The 40K maiden claimer, 25K maiden claimer, hasn't made a dent at all. Doesn't even really have a consistent running style, so I don't really know what to make of it. Going to be a toss for me. Number 5, Fast Study. Again, highest speed figure was a 76 Brisnet on its debut. Has not been able to break 70 since then. I think there's other horses that are better here. Running back at its last distance, so it ran here at a mile and 16th at Belmont last out. Got 8th by 11 lengths. So I don't think there's anything in its form to show that it's going to progress from there. Number 6, Your Mission. This will be my include. So this horse was previously trained by Todd Pletcher, was claimed by Jorge Abreu, moved to Jorge Abreu. Last race out, got 2nd, had an 80 Brisnet speed figure with Errata board. Javier Castellano's riding this time. You would think, second off claimer, second off trainer move. Running here at Belmont, second off of layoff. I think this horse has a great shot here. Has the experience at the track, has the experience at the class level, has the speed figure to be competitive. I'm going to be going with Your Mission. Number 7, October Bliss. Another toss for me. 74 is the highest Brisnet it's gone. Was beaten 7.5 lengths back last time out. It is a front runner, an E4 style, so maybe it can get loose on the lead. But I think it's going to be facing some other pressure here. And it just doesn't seem like it can handle the distance. And, you look at the form, and it'll be close to the lead and it kind of fades off. And there's no signs of it getting better. There's no class relief here. So it's going to be a fade for me. Number 8, Awesome Force. Also a toss. Similar story, middling speed figures, has never even sniffed the front half of the field, has never finished better than 6th. So nothing in here is showing me that it's going to take a step forward today. Number 9, Money for Nothing. This one I will be including. And if you look on the form here, this is not a horse that looks like it's going to do well, besides the class relief. In its first race in April at Aqueduct, maiden special weight, ran 65 Brisnet, got 11th place. Not great. May 6th at Belmont, ran another maiden special weight, didn't even finish the race really, got a 30 Brisnet, tossed his head, lunged out. Complete toss of that race, draw a line through it. You get this horse about a month and a half off. You drop it now from a 75K maiden special weight down to a 40K maiden claimer. You're stretching it out a little bit. It's by Munnings. I think this horse has a shot to kind of come out of nowhere and do what needs to be done. It's had a couple sharp workouts. I think the class relief is going to be really great. I think the little bit of layoff that it had is going to help it recover and kind of get back in its own head. So I think you're going to get up a good price on Money for Nothing. And I think it's worth including at this price here. Last one, we're going to talk about number 10, Druid. This one's going to be a toss for me. Similar to what we've been talking about with the other horses in these maiden claiming races, where it's almost like a crapshoot where you've got 10 horses and 7 of them have never even finished in the top 3. This is another one of those where, if it wins, it's just a random dice roll. There's nothing in the form showing that, it's had a class drop, it's had a trainer switch, it's had a jockey switch, it's had a distance change. This horse has run at multiple distances, different jockeys every time, inconsistent speed figures, never broken 65. I don't see any argument for this horse. So Drew is going to be a complete toss for me. So with that said, for this race, we're going to be doing the number 2, the number 6, and the number 9. So that brings us to our ticket total. We'll go race by race. In race number 6, we are singling the 2. Race 7, we're going 1, 3, 4, 6. Race 8, we're going 2, 3, 6, 9, 12. Race 9, we're going singling the 3. And race 10, we're going 2, 6, 9. So 50-cent tickets, that'll be $30. So keeping it light, we have 2 singles. We're going a little bit deep in the middle legs. And again, if that single doesn't get home in the first leg, always fire back for a pick 4 for the exact same price. So best of luck to everyone. Follow me along on Twitter. My name is Michael Pellerin. Follow me at Horse Guy Mike. Really excited for this new show where we pick a pick 5 ticket every week and we go through it. So stay tuned and give me your feedback in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and look forward to seeing you all next week.